Aloha my kako, this is the third and final part of my full review on the Lilo and Stitch live action movie. I was really hoping to make all of this in one video, but if you saw my video before the reviews and you saw those 11 pages of notes I had, yeah, this is a three-parter. Let's finally talk about the characters. Maya Kealoha's portrayal of Lilo was one of the film's strongest elements. She held the role very well, and I look forward to what she works on in the future. Seeing more Ka Nakamaoli on the big screen is always a win for us. But this version of Lilo, to no fault of Maya at all, lost so much of what made her special. Her quirks, her neurodivergence, her loneliness, and creativity all flattened. Her wall of tourist photos? Gone. Her connection to Pudge the fish? Gone. Her attempts at friendships? Rushed. The original showed us how Lilo was treated differently and how she saw and interacted with the world. The live action just tells us. Stitch was barely a character. He had no emotional arc, no growth, and no real bond with Lilo. Their relationship was barely explored. And the ugly duckling subplot, one of the most powerful scenes in the original, was completely removed. How are you going to remove that subplot that literally helps Stitch learn how to empathize and learn about family and belonging? Instead of struggling to understand all of these things, Stitch is just there. He's comic relief. He's merch. Nani was portrayed by Sydney Agudong, a white and Filipino woman from Kauai. Her casting sparked controversies for obvious reasons, and it's a shame that she has never come forth to address any of this, nor apologize for taking a role away from Native Hawaiian actresses, who already barely get representation. As for her appearance in the film, some are suggesting that she was put in brownface, because her skin tone in the film is drastically different from her headshots. And I have said before on my page that oftentimes, especially for mixed women, our skin tone can change depending on the season and how much we are in the sun. I have seen photos of Sydney when she was lighter, and then photos when she has more of a tan. I really don't want to believe that Disney in the year 2025 would actually put an actress in brownface, but at the same time, I would also not put it past them. You just have to look at their history, which would take another video to discuss all of that. However, I did notice a scene in the film where her skin does appear lighter than usual, and that is the scene where she's swimming in the ocean to rescue Lilo after the ship crashes. She did have one standout scene, and that's where she was rescuing Stitch from the ocean, carrying him, and moving across the ocean floor. I thought that looked really cool. And a nod to Hawaiian surfer Ha'akeaolana, also tying back into the story of Lilo talking about Nani and her training for surfing. However, I felt that her overall portrayal was pretty disappointing. It was pretty flat, one note, and she came across as harsh and disconnected from Lilo. That fierce, protective, tender love she had in the original, not there in the live action. Felt like she was just always annoyed and angry with Lilo. Their bonding moments didn't feel genuine at all, and to be fair, this is the fault of the screenwriters and the directors. David, played by Kaipo Dudois, my friend, was sweet and solid, and he was severely underused. It felt to me that they cut out a lot of his scenes. His chemistry with Nani, not explored. He went from a supportive love interest and best friend to a minor character. Their dynamic was barely touched on. He was just there. And Disney, you have been blessed with a talent like Kaipo Dudois. How dare you not utilize him? Literally playing Disney's most greenest flag of male characters, and he's barely in it. Remember when Disney used to tell really good romance stories? Yeah, I miss that. Tutu, played by Amy Hill, wasn't just a casting problem, it was also a character problem. With her cartoonish personality and butchered pigeon, she didn't feel like a genuine character to me. Again, who is she? Who is she to Lilo and Nani? Who is she to David even? Also, her line, "What about us?" regarding Americans, when Cobra Bubble says that he works to protect Americans, and she's like, well, what about us? Hevaloa. Like, not Cobra Bubbles, a CIA agent recognizing that Hawaiians are indigenous to Hawaii and we are not Americans. Oh, way. And then we have Cobra Bubbles, who was once a nuanced character, tough but empathetic, gave Nani so many chances to get her shit together so she could keep Lilo. In the live action, his role was split with a new character, Mrs. Keikoa, played by Tia Carrera, and while I love her, I felt like her character was completely unnecessary, and I didn't connect with her at all. Just felt like an excuse for Disney to cast her for nostalgia points. And Cobra was barely in the film. And when he did appear, it was all rushed and unexplored. Like, he barely had any interactions with Nani and Lilo and Stitch, and then at the end of the film, he agrees to watch the family. Like, who are you? Don't get me wrong, I love Uncle Cobra Bubbles, but where was the build-up in that? Jumba and Pleakley were completely butchered. Their chemistry was flat, and both of their voices sound exactly the same. Where was Jumba's cool accent? Their voices lacked energy and personality, and worst of all, they put them in human disguises. Literally, part of the charm of the original was watching these aliens in ridiculous outfits trying to fit in. And their excuse was, oh, well, we tried, but it was too hard. Yeah, you're just trying to cut corners, Disney, yet again. And for some reason, they made Jumba the villain because animating Gantu was too hard. Oh my god, poor Disney, the multi-billion-dollar company. You guys don't have the budget for that? You're not gonna do it right, then don't do it at all. We're talking about the same company that has created programs just to animate Merida's Hair and Brave, The Ocean in Moana. You mean to tell me you can't make a giant-ass shark alien? Making Jumba the villain was a weird and lazy choice. And it was heartbreaking. He's literally an important member of the Ohana. He gives Lilo and Stitch mini space cruisers for Christmas during the end credits. I loved seeing his character redemption arc in the original and how he may be a mad scientist, but he's not a bad guy. His motivation for being evil was just not convincing, and if anything, I actually sympathized with him. I mean, you have the councilwoman threatening to destroy his lab and entire his life work over Stitch, who didn't even do anything. Like, yeah, that would make anyone angry. If they want to justify him being evil, why weren't we given other examples of his other creations that were made? And, like, they destroyed planets or galaxies or whatever. And Pleakley was diminished to a dumb, goofy character rather than the intelligent, quirky, and compassionate character he was in the original. Also, not putting him in drag was a letdown. Lastly, let's talk about Myrtle and the other hula girls. This was a major misstep. In the original, Myrtle was a Haole girl coming from a wealthy family. She's the ringleader of Lilo's bullies, Elena, Teresa, and Yuki, and their dynamic was intentional. Lilo, a native Hawaiian girl, is ostracized and mocked, even in hula, by a group of mostly Haole girls, in a space that should belong to her. A subtle but powerful critique about how whiteness, wealth, and conformity shape social dynamics in Hawaii, how we can feel like we don't belong in our own homes. So making Myrtle and all of the girls Hawaiian or Pacific Islander just completely erases that. It's just a group of local girls bullying Lilo for no reason. Again, why would Myrtle just randomly hip check Lilo in the middle of a performance? Whereas in the original, it's more subtle. Even when Lilo arrives late to practice and she's dripping wet with water, she doesn't say anything until she slips on the puddle. Why are these girls just mean for no reason? Whereas in the original, we show that the girls are irritated at Lilo. They don't like her personality. They don't like her antics. We don't see that in the live action. And again, by casting the bullies as local Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders, the filmmakers avoided saying anything uncomfortable about race and colonial power. Hell, they removed so much of that from the original movie anyways. Lilo wasn't just different, she was marginalized, and that distinction is important. This film had so much potential, and yes, there were bright spots. Maya Ke Aloha, Kaipo Dutua, the real Ka Nakamauli faces, the Olelo Hawaii, the Hawaiian cultural moments. But overall, it was a watered-down, poorly paced, commercialized version of a deeply emotional story. Instead of uplifting Native Hawaiian voices and stories, this was nostalgia bait and a big-ass commercial for tourism. I give this movie a 3 out of 10, and all those 3 points are going to Maya Ke Aloha, Kaipo Dutua, and all the Kanaka Maoli that worked on this film. Please support the Kanaka Maoli cast and crew in their future work, because they all deserved so much better than this. We deserved our voices and our stories to be centered, not tokenizing us for marketing, and having haulas clearly make the final calls on this movie that's supposed to represent us. If you're going to tell our stories, do it right, or don't do it at all. And that is the end of my review, and if you would like to see it on a document format, you can go to the link tree in my bio, and it's going to be linked right over there.